Educating the client in security awareness will make everyone's job easier. In all things security and emergency management, you are a subject matter expert. At some time you may be asked to do a security awareness class for the client and their team. You can cover a variety of subjects, from active shooter, to access controlled, to document storage, and many other subjects. You will have to ensure the client and their team understands the importance of access control and all other subjects. Other things that you may be responsible for are things like teaching fire drills, what to do during medical emergencies, how to react to bomb threats, and other issues. The drills are designed to test the level of skill of the people that work there and reinforce good skills. Great training is the bedrock of engaged employees. Engaged means they are aware of and follow directives. Without training, employees could be making serious mistakes, especially in the realm of security. Security training allows organizations to influence behavior, mitigate risk, and ensure compliance. There are countless benefits of initiating security awareness training in your company. Looking at the evolution of security awareness training, the regulations and protocols are more complex than ever. This is mainly attributed to the sheer size of data produced, which is estimated at 2.5 quintillion bytes a day. The sophistication and growing numbers of hackers also dictate the need for security awareness training. It could be the difference between a ransomware attack and business as usual. There's really no question that training yields benefits. Let's take a look at the top 10 benefits of security awareness training. 1. Develop a security-focused culture. When you offer training to your employees on a topic, this is communicated to them that it's important. At this level of importance is a natural transition to have safety be one of your culture's foundations. Regular training instills better habits. When something becomes a habit, people will continue to follow it like it's second nature. Reinforcing the training with other communications like posters or emails is another way to ensure your culture stays security-focused. 2. Empower employees. When employees feel confident about their interactions with data that must follow security protocols, the less likely they are to cause an incident. Human error is, after all, the leading cause of breaches and attacks. Research that examined breaches from all of 2015 found human error as the number one culprit at 37%. To reduce the chance of human error and empower your staff, security awareness training is the solution. This training will teach them how to protect the company when using technology, so there's no guessing about what security steps should be taken. 3. Protect assets. A security breach is not only devastating to a company's reputation, but it's also a big hit to finances. According to the IBM Ponemon 2017 Cost of Data Breach Report, the average cost is $3.62 m. That's $3.62 m that you could have put into other projects. It's best to invest in training from the beginning to keep those dollars and protect your assets. 4. Prevent downtime. Should a breach or incident occur, it takes considerable time to investigate and repair. That's precious time that your staff has to devote to getting back up and running. This is likely to wreck your workflows and deadlines. Downtime, even for only a few hours, can cause severe disruption. 5. Increase adoption. Don't expect your employees to adopt security practices on their own by reading your policy. Training leads your employees toward adoption. They are informed and understand risks once they've been through training. With more training comes greater adoption and a workforce-wide awareness, thus enhancing security throughout your organization. 6. Institute proactive practices. Your security program should be proactive and preventive in nature rather than reactive. If you are reacting, something's already occurred. By looking at security as something to prevent rather than recover from, there is a shift in perspective. Security awareness training supports this perspective. Employees will learn about specific risks and how to avoid them. 7. Collect risk data by driving awareness. With more awareness of security risks, employees be a source of great insight for collecting risk data. Risk is a moving target in technology. Gain better knowledge of what types of risk employees are encountering, letting this inform your security strategy. Training facilitates this knowledge. For example, once an employee is aware of what a phishing email looks like, they are more likely to forward it to the security team rather than just deleting it. Employee-reported phishing attempts and other hacking schemes are valuable data. 8. Get everyone on the same page. Without official training on security, different departments or locations of a business may be employing different principles. Security should be cohesive across all employees. You don't want a bunch of rogue groups using practices they believe to be best. In training sessions, there's no more guesswork about what the security strategy is and how it needs to be implemented. Getting all parties on the same page is critical for reducing risk. 9. Expand awareness to reduce threats. Security awareness training should be designed to train on real-life threats, like the OWASP Top 10. Your users then learn how to recognize and avoid attacks, keeping the network secure and workflow moving. Without this kind of training, your users won't be as up-to-date on cybersecurity dangers and could, without malice, Expose the company's system to viruses and hacks. Put the onus back on the employee by giving him/her the knowledge to respond better. You need your employees to have these skills, so it's a true investment in your staff. When they are prepared, you should expect less threat activity. 10. Stay compliant. There are lots of regulations that businesses must adhere. These aren't optional. Not only does the training guide employees on how to stay compliant in relation to legislation like Sarbanes-Oxley (SOX), or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA. Training on these very topics may also be part of your organization's compliance. To keep all those that handle sensitive information within compliance and the rules, they'll need training to understand what their efforts must look like. Risking non-compliance could cost you significantly. Security awareness training is integral for a successful compliance program. Security guards are expected to respond to emergency situations and to minimize the impact caused where the security guard is working. They may be required to perform a variety of duties during emergency procedures and should understand the importance of scene management. It is your job as a security director to master your craft and set out policy and procedures for your team to follow. Emergency situations: it is important for security guards to know how to identify potential emergencies and what procedures to follow. Emergencies may involve fire, bombs, weapons, suspicious packages, or explosive devices. The extent of personal injury or property damage that arises from an emergency situation can vary. Emergency response procedures. Security guards should be familiar with any emergency response procedures shared with them by their employer to ensure an effective response during an emergency. These procedures provide a course of action for preparing and responding to an emergency. Security guards should be aware of any plans that are in place to respond to any sudden, unexpected action that may cause personal injury or property damage. Plans would be based on the best available information as to the type of emergencies that may arise and the extent of personal injury and property damage that may occur. These plans would determine what equipment should be acquired and what training should be provided in order to respond effectively and quickly to any emergency. Potential roles of a security guard during an emergency. A security guard's role in certain emergency situations is determined by the employer or client and should be documented before the security guard begins to work on the site. For example, the expected response to an intrusion alarm will vary depending on the employer. In some cases, the security guard will be expected to call the clients and the police and await their arrival. In other cases, security guards may be asked to investigate the cause of the alarm and secure the scene. In the case of a fire, the security guard may be expected to activate the fire alarm and contact the fire department. The security guard may also be expected to assist with the evacuation of the premises, including crowd control, and provide direction to emergency personnel when they arrive. The detection and prevention of fires is an essential part of the duties of a security guard. Whether on patrol or operating a fixed point, a security guard should be constantly on the lookout for fire hazards. Watching for the common things that are likely to generate a fire, for example, electrical equipment that produces heat or sparks when it shouldn't, combustibles placed near sources of heat, or routinely scanning for evidence that a fire has already started, such as alarms that have been activated or smoke and heat in places where they shouldn't be found, is likely to assist security guards in the performance of their duties. Some basic things to watch for. Explosives or flammables should not be stored near potential sources of ignition. Corridors, particularly those that are likely to be used in an emergency evacuation, should always remain free of obstructions or impediments, and combustible or flammable material should not be stored there. Exit doors, including the floor area on both sides of the exit door, should be kept clear and accessible at all times. Damage or deterioration of fire suppressors. Fire alarm systems must be operative. Security guards respond to alarms, and should have a basic understanding of the principles of protective and fire alarm systems that they are likely to encounter, with some information on the functioning of such systems. There are several types of alarm systems. Infrared, most common, detects motion in large areas by picking up infrared heat changes. Physical contact, detects a door or window being opened when the two parts of a sensor come apart. Photoelectric beams, detects a visible or infrared beam being broken, like garage doors use. Seismic, detects physical shocks in certain frequency ranges like glass breaking. Vibration, detects movement using very sensitive sensors mounted on fences or other structures. Ultrasonic, rare, detects motion like bats, using bouncing sound waves we can't hear. Microwave, rare, detects motion using bouncing microwaves. Electric fields, rare, detects presence using electrical wires, measuring changes in amplitude. Tripwires, rare, detects intrusion when someone physically bumps a tightly strung wire. During alarm response, guards should stay in touch with a dispatcher, a supervisor, or another guard when possible. The guard's own safety is the priority. If a crime is witnessed or confirmed from the findings, the guard should call police immediately and back off, observing the area from a safe distance. Finally, we will go over the concept of duty of care. Security guards need to be familiar with the concept of duty of care, what a reasonable person should do in a particular situation, and be capable of securing and protecting a crime scene until the appropriate personnel arrive. This concludes this training module. Thank you.